Come along for the start of an epic journey through the heart of the Ouachita Mountains, with everything from dicey boulder crossings to unbelievable sunrise vistas. Section 1 of the Ouachita Trail has all the ingredients for a big hiking adventure. Hello and welcome to the Oklahomo Hiker YouTube channel. Today, I am going on an adventure I have long awaited getting to do. This is section 1 of the Ouachita Trail. So, today I've parked at the very end of section 1, the Winding Stair Backpackers Campground along Highway 1 here in Oklahoma. And I am waiting on my shuttle to take me to the very beginning of the trail. So, I will bring you along, show you all of the sights along the way. I do hear this is the most difficult section of the trail, so it should be quite an exertion, which you know I love. Come along. Hey, guess what? I've made it to the trailhead. I have to say, Mike from, I think it was Ouachita Trail Guide, who provided the shuttle, was awesome. Thank you so much, Mike. I'm going to use him in the future. You should too. I will put his info in the video, but I'm at mile 0, so let's get some distance between me and this sign. I quickly realized I left my belt at home, but some hiker handiwork fixed the problem in no time. I am about 0.8 of a mile in and have a cute little bridge here. I've been following this drainage pretty much the whole time that we're crossing here. Have some nice big boulders here and there. Actually, they're way back in the distance over here. But we've been traveling along those, and we've been headed up, which is a trend that should continue for the next several miles. Let's see how bad it is. Well, I'm at 1.4 miles, and let me tell you, the last mile was up. And I'm talking up. So, I have leveled out here for just a moment before heading back up, and I am thankful for that. One thing that you definitely get with the Ouachita Trail is a ton of rocks, especially in section 1. But often that means that we are kind of near these very cool places where rocks are starting to show up, sliding down the hill all the way. And man, it just looks like, I don't know, a little garden of rocks. Actually, the first shelter here on the trail, I think is called Rock Garden Shelter. And I think as we get closer and closer, we will see why. The trail has continued to wind up the mountain, and I have reached at 2 1/3 miles this lovely spot here. Quite a view. Still lots of rocks. The journey up continues. The views are just incredible. It's really opening up here. Actually been dropping down just a little bit here in the last few feet, which could be a good sign. Anyway, I'll take the decline. Man, 3 miles in and about 5 o'clock, I am taking in this alpenglow. Everything is golden. Everything is gorgeous. It is pretty magical out here. Well, I have good news. At 3.5 miles, I found a camp spot with, you can't see it down here in the creek, but there's water. So this is definitely going to be home for the night. I've put 3.5 miles behind me, so have a little over 20 to go. But that's definitely manageable for 2 days. So, let's get this set up. Well, just a few minutes later, I have set up the tent and got kind of camp situated the way that I wanted for the night. Everything's pulled out. I'm going to go ahead and show you. All right, so you can see the general area. There's a fire pit back there. Got my, what is that? Some sort of a big Agnes, 1-person ultralight. In here we have my giant pack. And then you can kind of see the inside of the tent here. Not huge, of course, because we don't want to carry a huge tent that many miles. But certainly a good one for the sort of thing I do. Also, not a bad view, if I do say so myself. Not that I had anything to do with it. Of course, we've got some supplies over here. And we have a very overfull fire pit. All right, got a dinner of champions getting ready to go on here. Some stroganoff noodles, some Spam. I've got some friends that will puke when they hear what I'm eating out here. Good morning. It was a chilly night on the mountain last night, but slept well. Had a nice little campfire, as you saw. And now the tent's down, but camp is, of course, strewn from, here to there. I got to repack a little bit this morning, but getting ready to head out. It is about 7:45 in the morning, a little later than I was counting on, but I slept so well. So we're going to shoot for the Holson Valley shelter today. It's just about 12 miles away, so shouldn't be too bad. Although I hear from Dead Man's Gap at mile 8 to just past Holson Valley shelter, it is very treacherous, so super rocky. Mike yesterday at the shuttle service definitely warned me about that section. So we will see how this goes. Let's check it out. At 4.9 miles in, we have a beautiful campsite alert. It's up on the top of the mountain. Probably no water nearby, or super nearby. Not so much of a great view either, but it's perched very prettily on top of the ridge. Might have to stay here next time. View has really opened up on my right side. It's a little tough to see through the trees, but gosh, you can see for miles. Just continuing on this south side of the ridge. I have about 3 miles to Dead Man's Gap, where the really tough work starts. All right, crossing Forest Road 6010. That is a bit of a landmark. Not a scenic one, but it just means you've gotten somewhere. Now, I think the trail goes off this way. But we're gonna make sure this sign over here. Oh yes. Got Rock Garden Shelter, 3.6 miles, and Dead Man's Gap, 2.2. This is it. Would you look at that? First one of these I've seen, actually, since I've gotten on the trail. That is exciting. I don't know why I haven't seen one until now. But there is mile 6. We are a quarter of the way done with section 1. I have hit Dead Man's Gap and Oklahoma Highway 1, the Talimena Scenic Drive. I'm not going to stop here. There is a shelter, the Rock Garden Shelter, here in, I don't know, a mile and a half. And I'm going to stop there and eat. So, keeping on trucking. Well, as promised, the trail has become much rockier. On the north side of Highway 1, gonna see what we're crossing here. Not horrible so far, but the general consensus is that by the end of this section of rocks, which lasts about 10 miles, your feet will feel like they've been put through a meat grinder. So, fun. All right, I'm gonna put this down because not all of the boulders are, well, nice and nestled into the ground. They kind of turn on you. So, I'll check in a little later. I have made it to the Rock Garden Shelter. And it is time for some tasty victuals. Well, lunch is served, and my gosh, it looks so good. You gotta see this. Ooh. Oh, red beans and rice. Ooh, let me get out of this one. It is so good. And look at this cute little spoon my husband got me for Christmas. It's great because I don't scratch the bottom of this pan, which is super lightweight, but, you know, I don't want to destroy it. So anyway, I have not found this side of the trail to be super, like extra rocky yet, but there are 7 miles between here and the next shelter, which is where I'm hoping to stay tonight. And they should probably bulk up the rock factor, I'm sure. Anyway, I'm going to enjoy this before it gets cold so that I've got the energy to do all this, whatever is coming up. It's time to hit the road. Mile 9. brought a tremendous amount of up and downing, as you can hear by my panting. Still not like a crazy amount of rocks to cross. Man, I have to say the upping and downing you have to do in the last half of mile 9, probably some of mile 10 too, I'm not exactly sure where I'm at. It is brutal. You are just going from wash to wash, and I'm not sure where I'm going from here, so I'll pick that thought up later, maybe. This is one of those spots where you're supposed to look for the paint on the other side of the rocks, the blue blaze, and just find any old way around that you can. So I'm going to put this down so that I get some good footing. This looks treacherous. Boy, this north side of Winding Stair has been tough, but man, it's gorgeous. Just these giant boulders all over the place really make this place feel special. And of course, these big mountain views. Down into a watery ravine, and then we climb right back up and go out there. Cool spot. This may be the last water on the trail, hopefully not, but I've got 12 miles to go, so I'm halfway there. I am definitely going to fill all my vessels. Hey, guess what? More boulders. Never ending. Yes, my feet will feel like ground meat later this evening. And the real kicker is, some of them like to roll on you. So, have those goat legs out. You're gonna need them. This is a really pretty section. Actually, we've just passed by a pretty epic boulder thing here, but there's a road. So we didn't have to scramble for like the first time in miles. I'll take it. Well, not only do we have our most ambitious and probably longest lasting rock crossing yet, we have what I would call our first rock glacier and a pretty amazing view of Holson Valley. Mile 16 means I'm about a half a mile from my shelter. It is time. This last mile and a half, 2 miles. Eee! Well, actually, since mile 8, it's been pretty brutal. Anyway, getting close. Guess what I see? Oh, oh, the shelter. I have arrived. I am so ready to rest And look at that beautiful sunset in the valley. Mountains everywhere. Ah, thankful to be here. Let's get set up. Look at those pinks. So pretty. And the shelter itself has a nice little feature here. Somebody's thought to put a tarp so that the wind doesn't blow straight into it, as I imagine it might. Anyway, got a picnic table, a little fire pit. I think I'm gonna rest a little while and get some dinner started. Oh my goodness, I cannot tell you how good that is. Spam and Parmesan noodle. Anything is better with Spam if you ask me. On the trail anyway. Maybe not in everyday life. But it's amazing. Good morning. Look at that sunrise. That is incredible. It got very cold last night. And let me tell you, this tarp became very, very helpful. I at first was annoyed by the sound that it was making because of the wind kind of rustling. This was before I had it totally shut up. And then it became, super frigid. So I was very, very thankful for it. So great idea on this. Whoever put this here. It's time to make some coffee and get moving this morning. So I'm going to duck back into the comfort of the shelter here and get some of that stuff ready to make. All right, look at this vista. This is just incredible. Right by Holson Valley Shelter. It is cold this morning. I am getting ready to head out. It is about 30 degrees with about 20 mile per hour winds with 35 mile per hour gusts. It's freezing. So time to get moving and produce some heat. But goodbye to this beautiful Holson Valley shelter and the view. All right, 7 miles to go, 4 miles to Horseleaf Springs. Got a pretty solid view here, somewhere east of the 19-mile marker. I will say from 18 to 19, it was a piece of cake, totally flat almost the whole way. A little bit of a hill at the very end, but not bad at all. This morning's hike has been by far the easiest. I am very excited to be nearing a significant mile marker 20, which is of course just the first one that begins with a 2. So mildly exciting for me. The trail has continued to be good. Something that I would mention for today is that the rock situation has been much better. So far, and I suspect it will remain the case, the worst of the rock work was between mile. Well, it was between the Rock Garden Shelter and the Holson Valley Shelter. So thankful for that. All right, got about 3.5 miles to the truck, if that. So making good time. Gonna get there. So I was so excited to see mile marker 20. I totally missed it. I don't know if it wasn't there or if I just wasn't looking closely enough, but I've made it to the 2-somethings. Woohoo! I have a secret. It's pretty exciting. I see a familiar landmark. I see cached water. I see a sign. I see whatever this is, this building. And I see the truck. You can't, but it's back there. Look at that. Woo! I have made it to the end of section 1. Well, I suppose it's not official until I get out here on the road. But I've done all of this before, so I'm calling it official. Woohoo! There it is. I have picked myself out a spot in the bed of my truck to do the final trail report. That was an amazing experience. I mean, my gosh, the views. Is that Oklahoma? Is that even real? The sunrise this morning was the prettiest view of all by far. As far as like thoughts on the conditions, overall it's extremely well marked. I never had any question about like, ooh, where do I go? I did have all trails open the whole time, and I never had to even consult it because those blue blazes were everywhere. Water was more plentiful than I expected. I mean, it is still really tough to come by because you are on the ridge of Winding Stair Mountain. Near the top most of the time, maybe a third of the way down, halfway down. And those, of course, lower places are where you're going to have your better chances of water, but it hasn't been an exceptionally wet January, and I didn't have any problem finding water at all. The section between Rock Garden Shelter and Holson Valley was by far the worst in terms of ascents and descents. It was just up and down and up and down and up. And of course, the numerous rock fields. Today was kind of a piece of cake. So it was about 7 miles from the shelter to the trailhead here. I stopped plenty of times for snacks, and I feel good. Not good enough that I don't want the burger at Queen Wilhelmina, though. So I'm going to head there and eat that with great gusto. That's like the thing that I look forward to. I'm like, we're getting close to the end of the trail. It's burger time. And of course, chocolate milk or a milkshake if I can't get a chocolate milk. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this one and starting this big journey with me. I hope you've enjoyed it. Of course, I hope you'll like and subscribe so you can see the rest of the journey. Until then, get yourself out on the trail and have a great time doing it.